Happy Monday, everyone. We are live, 6 p.m. Laurel and Hardy, Morecambe and Wise.
You don't want your cheek slaps again, do you?
Hinge and bracket.
Hinge and bracket.
I like that.
More appropriate.
I thought that was genius.
Dumb and Dumber, probably more likely.
Arguably one of the biggest golfing weeks of the year. Isn't it? It really is. I mean, bigger than a major Ryder Cup.
In a way, yes. Yeah, and I think if you add on the weekend we just had, the whole kind of full week, definitely, yeah.
So let's talk Solheim Cup.
Brilliant.
Isn't it nice to have an event that's really got the juices flowing for the ladies' game, for everyone? I think it really, over the last couple of Solheim Cups, it's really got the juices, as I say, juiced up. Watching it, seeing it, the Glen Eagles really is probably when, for me, really started to get more. When Suzanne Pettersson hold that winning putt, that was fantastic. Yeah. And then for them to go ahead and win again, and then back at Finca Courtesan.
Yeah.
What were your takeaways last week?
I think one, just after the 4-0 drubbing in the first foursomes, I was like, oh, this could be really ugly. But I think how the quality of golf played, Sagander and Grant being 8 under for the front 9 in their 4-ball match. But just the general quality all the way through, I thought, from a match play point of view, great. And to be that close at the end as well, that's what we all want. We all want that this week, to get to the end, and then whichever way it goes, it's been a proper fight.
Yep.
So yeah, great quality.
As usual, we've got the chat feed up in front of us. Steve, thanks so much. Audio, we've got our tech guys on it. Hopefully it won't be too rough for too long. Taking your questions, we're going to play some holes tonight from the Marco Simone golf course. I keep on saying Simeone.
It's only one extra letter.
Yeah, could have been 3. So do fire over some questions. We're going to play some par 3s, some pivotal holes.
Yeah.
I thought that Finca Courtesan wasn't particularly the best venue for it. I thought it was, when we had the Volvo World Match Play, didn't we, a good while back, I thought it was a very big venue. It needed a lot of people there to make it. It's in Spain. It's a great golfing landscape down there. I question marks over the size of it. I think it made the crowds a bit lost in the landscape. Nevertheless, I'm sure if you were there, you felt the intensity of the crowd and the atmosphere.
Yeah, and Trish alluded to that one of our lives a few weeks back. She said, great to have it in Europe, in the sun, for the first time. Mic switch.
Mic change.
First time in the sun, rather than Sweden or Scotland or wherever. And as Trish said, the big problem was the fact that the course is so spread out, it's so hilly. Getting around it was a bit of a mission. And as you say, it made it look. I'd just love to have seen more people around. I mean, that first tee, they shoehorned a very dramatic first hole, but they shoehorned a stand onto what looked like the edge of a cliff. Yeah. So you didn't get that surround like we're going to get at the Ryder Cup. And I think that's I think that's a bit of a shame. I think it could have been showcased, I think, a little bit better.
The closing 3 or 4 holes really added to the spice of the whole weekend. I mean, the girls didn't really play that great first out on Friday. Whether that was the golf course was maybe a bit tougher than they anticipated, but invariably with the best players in the world always acclimatise themselves to the golf course, and they really play some really great golf. It was when you go sort of down so early on, heavily down as well, to come back really shows real depth and strength within the team. Any stand-up performances for you?
Sagander. I think she was at home. She was so amped up in Spain, match play. She loves it. Leonie Maguire. She's absolute dynamite in match play. I think those two were, for me, the European standouts. And it was interesting seeing Rose Zhang on the US side. A little bit quieter, I thought she might be. Maybe it's just a bit soon on that kind of level of stage. But I think across the US team, I think they all performed pretty well. Whereas I think a couple of our players might have been a little fatigued. The bit that surprised me was the only player without a point was Celine Boutier in the whole of the two teams. Whereas every American scored a half a point at least. But I think Saganda is hard to look past. 4-0.
Yeah. It's a strong reply from Korda, right?
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, you would have nailed on Korda to hold that putt. Saganda hadn't hit that one in close. Suddenly, classic match play situation, which is what you want to see, isn't it? Down on such a big event like that, coming down the final few holes, it's all on the line, and two really good players. I mean, these are pivotal points in players' careers, arguably. They hit these shots. Whilst it's not a match play event, it's such a big event, and they know that they want to deliver. To then deliver, it's again just another level up to help them win major championships and all the rounds.
And that shot Carlotta hit to close it out. I mean, that just ended it. There, you stuck it to 2 foot. In any situation, that's a great shot. In that situation, that's legend status straight away there. Yeah, massively impressive. Yeah.
So we've got some questions coming in. Peter Kendall. That's a new name. I don't think we've seen Peter here before, so welcome, Peter. Hi, chaps. I'm thinking of having a wedge fitting. The wedges I want are the CBX zip core. My question is, can you modify them for certain situations, i.e. hard pan, or if I want to open them up? Thank you.
Yeah, the CBX are a cavity wedge, so a slightly wider sole.
Just gonna grab the mouse.
And so what that means that for opening up, that makes it a little bit harder because the width means the leading edge is going to sit up a little bit more. They do have a bit of camber. They do have a bit of a cambered sole. I'm trying to think if we've got one over there. There should be one over there. I might nip out and find one in a moment.
Go grab one while we're chatting.
Got something similar. So the sole shape does make them a little bit harder.
We have
from
got
that point of view.
probably somewhere in the region of 2. Let's just how many wedge heads have we got there? 2, 4, 6,
1, 2,
7,
3, 4.
7.
About 50.
50 different wedge heads.
So CBX has
Right-hand,
a wider sole. So this is the full face version, but that sort of cavity element. Tech support. So it's got a bit of camber to the sole, but if you open it up, we could do a little bit of a grind on the back edge just to make that open up a touch more, but with the width of sole on this particular head, it's really designed more for the softer conditions. Ultimately, most wedges are designed for US, so soft sand, soft turf. So over here, the width of the sole and the camber makes it, if you open it up, the leading edge might sit just a little bit proud.
Good insights there. Thanks, Simon. So Steve says, Simon, can you suggest a few models of irons that are the most forgiving for those of us that have our miss low on the face?
Okay,
Good
so
question.
you want a bit of tungsten in the sole because that gets the momentum and the mass down low. So I mean ZX4, Strixon, good for that. The Titleist, depending on how forgiving you want to go, T350, that's going to be good. Other ones that have picked it up well, the Ping 430 for good ball speed low on the face. So those that tend to have a slightly wider sole and they've also got some tungsten deep in it, that gets the bit of mass low, that gets a bit of momentum and keeps ball speed. So those are the three that kind of straight away pop in.
But he's good at this, isn't he? He's pretty good.
Say it confidently enough and it looks like you know what you're doing.
He's very good. It's very good. So Steve, thanks. We've got that audio sorted by the sounds of things. Chris S, hi guys. Got some MP223s with O-band 115s. Dislike how they get into the turf. Too much bounce. Looking for more spin and thinking T100. What is the most cost-effective way to go about the change?
Well, I mean, the one thing I would say is if bounce and the MP223s, they don't have a lot, and the T100s certainly don't have any less. So if they're getting into the turf, it's probably not the bounce because all those kind of irons have very little bounce. So there might be something else going on in the setup. So I would check that out. I mean, the T100s should keep a little bit more launch. The most cost-effective way of, if you were going to change those over, is realistically, I mean, it's an expensive set of clubs to start with. Bit of anywhere they can do a trade or get some shafts for the T100s, stick them in the 223s and sell those. But really, I would be looking at what's going on with the setup, because if you think the 223s have too much bounce, then I would be questioning that.
Interesting. So it could be. So you feel that the 223s haven't got as much bounce as Chris is feeling. So it could be something about the shaft setup or
just
his
timing,
technique.
balance, swing weight.
Yeah.
The Obens aren't a tip heavy setup, so if you're losing the bottom end, that could get you, I won't say casting, but dumping it into the turf a little soon. So that would then feel like the leading edge is getting caught, rather than getting ball turf.
So maybe a 100-gram shaft or 95-gram shaft
could just be a little more. Could be a little more head weight. It could be a slightly less. The Obens are not tip heavy, so something a little more on the tip end could help with that. But you'd have to look at the dynamics of. Someone's got to be able to determine why it's happening, which is the tricky bit. But it won't be bounce.
Whereabouts you based, Chris? Let us know, and hopefully we can advise you in person. So I love Turtle. Evening Eric, evening Ernie. We still haven't figured out who's Eric and who's Ernie.
Well, you're taller, but I wear glasses, so who knows?
Yeah, true. Looking forward to Stuart's Broom Club reviews. So for those of you that haven't seen, I've done a little broom video series on my channel, a shameless plug, Intelligent Golf Performance, Stuart Cartwright. So I did a few broom drills that helped people understand the golf swing. So go over and check those out. That's what I love Turtle. And so look,
we're going to get an autoflex in one of those broom heads soon. See what happens to that soft jar.
So look, who knows what's coming to a Precision Golf Monday Night Live soon. Chris S, could it be sole width I'm misinterpreting?
I think it is potentially a little bit of looking at the wrong solution to the problem here. Is that if it's getting into the turf, then it could be too little bounce. But realistically, if it's getting into the turf, then it's a timing issue more than necessarily bounce, because no iron, apart from some of the really big cavity wax, has as much bounce. And so you're not really looking at using the bounce, you're trying to get ball turf. Yep. So Strixon have a bit of sole graduation for turf interaction to scoot through it. But if it's catching the ground, catching it heavy, then it's either too little bounce, which say generally not a problem with irons, or just wrong balance setup.
Chris, jump in the car, 2 hours down the M4, come see Simon, one of the guys, we'll sort you out. Let's talk Ryder Cup. Let's talk Ryder Cup.
Hairs in the back of the
neck. And why don't we talk about one of the par threes?
We've got a couple. We can do like a nearest the pin on a couple of them. We'll also talk about their significance.
Absolutely.
You've got the mouse.
I've got the mouse. There we go. So Norwegian Warhound, great to see you. NWH. Curious if you have heard much about the new Ping Blueprint T and S. I like mine even if I probably shouldn't be playing them.
I've seen lots of images. A forged head.
What's T and S?
Well, the S is the cavity back. I mean, I've just seen a couple of images. Then we'll find out more hopefully next week. I think it's next week, seeing our rep, to get a bit more. They kind of look like the old i200, a forged version of the i200. Yeah. Beyond that, don't know. The Ping have been pretty tight-lipped about it so far. So unlikely to be cheap being forged and being from Ping. But yeah,
make it rain, Davey. Make it rain.
So kind of an S55/i200 kind of thing, I think, going on.
Brilliant. All right. So.
Right. So we've got
what hole is
13th. So we're at short par 3 for these guys. For any of us really shortish. 148. We've got it on today. And with where it comes, this is one of the few holes they are all going to attack. This is going to be halved in 2 more often, and birdie more often than I think any other hole. Certainly other than par 5.
So pretty flat.
Pretty flat.
148.
There's not really. Yeah, it's one of those holes where there's no point just playing safe for the middle of the green. They're going to be fizzing it at flags.
Yeah, especially with only wedge in their hands for most of them.
So this could be that kind of turning point. Someone makes a mistake, someone makes bogey on this hole. I think 4 balls, they're just going to be pinging it at it. But one that allows them to go flag hunting and could form a bit of excitement.
Well, as soon as you chose it, I mean, it seems only right that you go first.
Well, your name's up there first.
So is it? Okay, well, I better hit first then. Now look, I'm nursing a slightly errant back, so I'm going to go with a soft 9-9. I like to call a flaccid 9-9.
Soft 9-9, 148. God, beast.
Well, yeah, I'm a 155 with a 9-9 for me.
You see, it's all that fitness work. You see. Long levers and fitness work.
Don't want to talk about it.
That's why you got a bad back.
Don't want to talk about it. Yeah.
And this is literally a just
Where's the
green
flag?
light, go straight out. So kind of just from down the line of the.
Yeah. Okay. So right, got it.
Yeah,
Okay, that's a straight line. All right.
When it's on the sim, it's quite hard to line up.
Yeah. All right. So looking for a little white flag, looking for a little Virginia in there. Oh, I like the look of that.
I don't.
Come down.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. He's going to want to get himself some Mura blades soon, isn't he?
I'm here all week.
Do you get a second go? You get a second go next. You can.
We get two.
Yeah, do two.
Oh right, right, best. Oh, right.
I figured just in case one of us hit a rock.
No, I like it. I like it. No, I like it, Simon. I like it. Little.
Ye of little faith.
That was 14 feet 10 inches. All right, so that's a beat. Okay, Stuart.
But I think the thing with a hole
that
like
might
this
be even better. I think that might be even better.
It's just drifted. This is just take a dead aim at it, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is there's nothing of any real note around the green. So for those guys, this is going to be pin peppering.
Yes, and look, I think the players in general. I mean, who likes a 200-yard par three? We've said it many times. Nobody really enjoys a 200-yard par three, do they? And it's good for the galleries.
Yeah.
Bit of nerves for everyone. Having a short par three really is a lot more interesting than a 200er.
Especially when your oppo stuffed it in close.
Yeah, absolutely.
Quite like it.
Oh no. Oh no.
Quite like it.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh, just call me Carlotta.
3 foot 1 inch. How many times have you played this hole, James?
Honestly,
Matt, how many times has he hit a shot into this hole?
Quite a few.
I mean,
you still got to do it. Still got to do it when it matters.
well, at least you were honest about it.
Yeah. I've been practicing the last
He's
20 minutes.
He's hit 50 balls. Unbelievable.
But you know what that is? That's good coaching.
Well, I didn't want to say it. That.
I like this
it's
hole.
disgusting. Well, you've hit 50 balls. Good hole. Good hole.
But I think it's different to see, and you see on a lot of the world's top courses, you see short par threes. You look at Merion, you look at Augusta, you look at Troon. There are lots of shortish 150, 160 yard par threes or shorter on those best courses, and actually it provides you with a little bit of, go to the 200 odd yarder, but it provides you with something that you're going to see some excitement because they're going to go straight at it.
Yeah. 200 yards.
17 though.
This
one's really going to be.
17's pivotal.
This is going to be pivotal because it's not a big green, narrow green, 200 yards. The nerves are going to be properly going here. This is all or nothing.
I mean, I've got to tell you, it's not the most attractive looking golf course in the world, is it?
No, I think once you've got loads of crowds around
100%, 100%.
But yeah,
it's not something that really has got my excitement at the Vista. It looks like it's cut out of wasteland, isn't it? But I think that's the type of golf course that Ryder Cup courses end up being.
Yeah, I think, and that's as we were talking to Colin the other week. I think that's it's going to courses that maybe want a bit of they want the exposure, but also they've got to get the crowds around. There's got to be the space to put grandstands, and unfortunately that does mean. There's some great comments about why not do it on the links course things, but there's got to be the volume, the scale of those tournaments now to get everyone there and all the hoo-ha merchandise and that goes along with it.
So what have you got? 203 yards.
203. I got 5 iron.
No wind. 5 iron.
Yeah.
What are you laying up here?
You're 1-0 down.
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Yes,
Right.
I am.
So, and left goes off. So
no wind. Flat calm.
Right. Nutted it. It's gone right.
It's drifting.
Yeah.
It's drifting. Oh no.
See, that's
members. Sort of
four,
a members.
4 balls. That's not bad as the first.
No, not bad at all.
Yeah, it's not in the soup.
In the semi-rough.
Yeah.
Penalty added.
A little bit of fun. Okay.
Yeah, a little bit of.
Right, so I need to
you sure you got enough clubs, Simon? I mean,
Yeah, definitely enough
okay.
club.
Oh, of course, you've hit it 25 times.
I've been practicing.
Yeah. Oh, that looks a bit left to me. Is it coming back?
It's tight.
Is it?
It's tight.
Is it?
It's tight.
Is it? That's a nice shot. No, that's a nice shot. Yeah. I'm really happy for you. I'm really happy for you.
But actually, I don't know how narrow that green is.
No,
There's
I know.
not a lot of green there. And
I know.
This could be where a Ryder Cup match is won and lost.
I'm just going to zoom in here. Just zoom into to Simon's golf clubs here. These are fresh out the bag.
Because I haven't cleaned them.
I can't.
No,
operate.
I
can't operate with technical equipment like this.
I played poorly yesterday, so I thought I'd punish them by not cleaning them. Golf taught me a harsh lesson.
I did it. After shooting 5 under the other week in your comp and winning.
I had three good rounds in a row, and it's just reminded me that it's in charge.
Absolutely. Just like the boss at home, right?
Yeah, always. Except I know that. I know she is.
Right. Come on.
Ooh. That's with me. Yeah, well, it's the sensible miss.
Hop. Oh. I tell you, I don't mind your clubs. They feel quite nice.
I should do.
They feel quite nice.
Yours?
Yeah, they're lovely. They're lovely. Right. Well, I need to.
You do an upgrade.
Well, I only had them 5 minutes. Right, come on, Stuart. You need to hit the green. Oh, I think that might be quite good. No, she's drifting as well.
No. She's coming back. She's coming. Oh, yes. Very good.
Oh, come on.
Look at that. Oh, coming back. Even a bit of late backspin.
Hey.
Very good. Very good.
That's very nice. That's very nice.
I believe that 9 foot. Yeah,
9 foot.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a strong hole. It's a strong hole.
I mean, you take any of those 4 shots actually.
They're all up and down.
Yours preferably, but yeah, take those. Yeah.
Come into the camera. We're getting directed now. Look, let's play. So they're the back 9. Should we play? Can we play the couple of the front 9?
You can do the front 9 ones, yeah.
Yeah. Let's play those. So who's going to be a standout? Who's going to be a standout player? I mean, there's been lots of talk, of course. Last year, Rory didn't really show up. The big players didn't show up and play their game. Top 3 out of the 4 in the world are Europeans now. Do we think and suspect that they're going to turn up and play well? Seeing as it's in Europe, it's a big advantage, isn't it?
It certainly seemed it's been of recent past, isn't it? I think you go back to, was it Medina's the last one that was won away from home, and that was the last close one as well. So they've been quite heavy wins or losses, depending which way you look at it, the last few. So. Which I think that's interesting on its own. I'm more bullish about our chances now than I was a year ago. It's an interesting one. I want to say we're going to win. I'm just not sure.
It's funny though, isn't it? I mean, we're from the generation of we've done so well in the Ryder Cup that we haven't. If you remember, I mean, we've gone into the Ryder Cup so many times.
Yeah.
Feeling like we shouldn't really win, but yet every time we seem to get over the line. I think Liv hurt us more than it hurt the Americans.
I mean,
we lost. I mean, they might not be on the top of their game.
Did we lose anyone really?
But I think that whilst the Westwood or Pulse were not necessarily going to get in, they might have been backroom staff.
Yeah,
they might have been vice
yeah.
captains. You have Henrik being a captain. Think about Henrik being a captain, Lee Westwood, Ian Poulter. Yeah. That might have been enough to sway the difference of the team. I don't know, but it did feel like we lost out more than the American guys.
Yeah, I think if those playing, Bryson, that he's probably the one you look at and go of the live players. He's just one.
Yeah.
Are they going to wish from a playing point of view he was there? I guess we'll never know. Will we?
No.
The one The slight concern is obviously Bob McIntyre missing the cut. Played Paris, having had a good finish at Wentworth. Played Paris, missed the cut. Is that going to affect him? It's not what you want going into it.
No. I just wonder that Paris was, I mean, obviously a great golf course, but it wasn't particularly appetising weather, was it?
It was miserable, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it looked like there was, 3 fellas and a goat walking around, like very little crowd.
And you would just pull out, wouldn't you? Really?
Yeah, I was a bit surprised. Why would you play the BMW France and then Ryder Cup? I'm a bit surprised. He's obviously in form. Why would you play 2 weeks? I mean, I don't even. He might even have played the week before, because the week before was a biggie. What was the week before BMW?
Good question.
Wasn't. I can't remember, but it was Irish Open.
Irish
Open. So he would have played there. So he's played. He's not played 4 weeks in a row. I mean, that is if he did play the Irish, which I'm pretty sure he did. Yeah. That is a really bad idea.
Emotionally, that build up.
Very odd.
But hopefully we're wrong.
Very odd. Højgaard.
Yeah.
How do you feel about it? I was a bit underwhelmed with how he performed at the BMW. He played obviously with.
My opinion, Meronk should have been instead of him, based on previous form, and that's the one I think. I think Aberg. I don't think Aberg took Meronk's place. I think Højgaard did, and that's the one that just didn't quite feel right for me. I know he played well in Switzerland, but again, we'll see. But maybe Meronk isn't that popular background. Maybe that's part of the decision. You'd have to think it would have to be. Yeah. It's a bit like JT coming in for the US team. He's their Poulter. He's clearly a popular guy in the team room. You got him and Fowler and Spieth as a kind of a pod, almost ready-made there. And then he went and played well. Was it last week? Last week. So that feels like as much as he hasn't been on form, it feels like personality was a good bring in, and maybe that was part of the decision with Adrian. I don't know. Yeah. It kind of has to have been part of it. Yeah. But who knows? It could be a David Guilford and play great, pair him with the equivalent of Seve, and they're going to win a point.
David Guilford, and Philip Price. Yeah. So what have we got here? We're going to get to your question in a second, Adam, and everyone else.
So
keep
this
the questions
one,
coming in.
You're up first against 188. This one is I'm trying to remember which hole this one is. First par 3 on the course. Get to it early. It's sort of a mid-range one. 188, playing downhill about 5 or 6 yards. So playing more like a 180 shot. They're just getting into the round at this point. I think this is the 3rd hole. It's early on. This is just a case of they're all trying to jostle for superiority, jostle for position. Yeah, it's set nicely in. A little bit of water down the right.
Yeah, I might just try a little draw in here.
What club have you got?
I've got 7-9.
7-9. Yeah.
7-9. I'm going to go right edge of the green. Just try and hit a little draw in there.
Look, even did what he said he was going to do as well.
Oh, that looks quite nice.
I mean, it's a good job that this isn't a couple of weeks ago. Otherwise, we'd have had a phone call.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I can't believe it. I can't believe we haven't had a call up.
Begin to imagine how scary that first tee shot is. I can't begin to. But I mean, I don't think I'd be able to breathe.
Yeah, you'd be sick in your mouth, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Be sick in your mouth.
Yeah.
I might just hit a little fade into this one, just because I can.
Okay, just a showboat.
Just showboat. Yeah, down the left, and just hit a little Virginia in.
So, when you're talking about shaping shots and things like that, how often would you play a shot in there versus a kind of a stock swing? What makes you decide that side of it?
It used to be where the flag's located, but now it's just whether it fits my eye or not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I feel fairly competent that I can move it both ways, which, without sounding egotistical.
You do spend your whole time on the mat upstairs.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like I move it both ways. So I feel like it's fit to the eye rather than any particular. Well, left flag I always draw it, or right flag I always fade it. I mean, right flag, I would very rarely draw it in. Just depends if there's water on the right or out of bounds left or whatever might have an influence. But yeah.
Do you go? I don't know.
You going seven? Can you get 7
on
there?
It might be a smooth 6. Just because I just want to put a controlled swing on. And you know, I'm above your kind of goading and machismo. I'm perfectly comfortable with my own club selection.
So just before you hit that, let's get on to a couple of questions because they're coming in. Make sure they keep coming in, chaps and chapesses. We're always keen to answer them. Adam, it says, hi chaps. Do you consider BGT Brava Autoflex speciality shafts for a niche or main line options?
Specialty shafts. I think partly, I mean, you have to because they're, well, the auto blooming dear, so it's definitely not mainline, and that's a 700, 800 pound or 600 pound shaft. Now they dropped the price a little bit, but that one is specifically a very, very unique feel, very, very soft. Suits a very particular play style. The BGT Brava is one that they do a putter shaft that's very, very stiff. So that's the same principles. It's very, very lightweight, very stable. So go from 48 to 56 grams.
This is what we get in the background. I mean, this is high tech stuff.
He's never rude on it though.
No, he's never rude.
Puts the time an exclamation mark if we want to get on.
Brilliant.
If he means get on with it, then. So yeah, BGT is a similar principle of lightweight but stiffer feel. Both claim to be the next big amazing thing, but they're great if they work for you. So.
He's just drawn a naughty object on the board. Yeah. That's why we're chuckling. Yeah. Anyway, so hopefully that answered your question, Adam, whilst we chortle away. We agree with you, Richard. Moronk, I think Moronk was unlucky to miss out on the selection.
If we look, McGinley recently was also saying, do you wait a win on the course that the Ryder Cup is on? Even that tells you there's a...
something else going on.
There's, you should have been playing. Yeah.
I think we all concur on that one. Bill James, Bill, nice to have you on. I think this might be one of the... Has Bill sent in a question before? I don't seem to remember, Bill. Well, welcome anyway, Bill. Hi, chaps. Which rookie will be the standout on each side? Good question.
Ricky on our side's clearly going to be Aberg. I just don't. I don't see how he's not going to be... He's just not going to be phased, but he's just... I don't see him crumbling, and I think he's just going to be box office to watch.
Yeah.
I know it's the easy answer.
No, it is the easy answer. You just completely copped out there. No, but I agree. I think he's... I mean, he won in Constancier. He made 100 odd golfers look very ordinary. When he hit at the BMW, when he hit, I think I said it last Monday, when he hit that iron down 8, just short of the water. For those of you that have not played Wentworth, the 8th hole, there's a bit of some heather that crosses over the fairway at about 265.
Wee nose.
I mean, it's just a colossal hit with an iron.
Big hit with a driver.
Exactly. And to see him just whip one down there, and he seemed to just take everything in his stride. And when Tim Barter was interviewing him, he really didn't. He really had the air of someone that is just taking it in his stride and didn't really necessarily appreciate the magnitude of it all. And well, isn't that good? But it's just weird.
And he gets on with it as well. He's a quick player, which is great.
Absolutely. So I think Aberg, I think, is a bit of a no-brainer. Would be foolish to say anyone else.
US side, US rookie. I'm trying to remember who they are.
Yeah, they've escaped me who they are at the moment.
So you got Brian Harman, Wyndham Clark.
That's it.
Is Homer a rookie? Did Homer play in the last one?
No. Homer's going to be Homer.
Homer's a rookie.
Yeah. I expect big things from him next year. I think this could be. I think if Homer has a really big Ryder Cup, I think he's going to be someone that's going to really kick on next year.
I think Harman's going to be a really interesting one in this Ryder Cup. He's going to be that terrier who just won't let go of your ankle.
I agree.
What do you think of Wyndham Clark's comments about McIlroy, saying, I like to think I'm better than Rory, so I'm going to stick it to him at the Ryder Cup, basically is what he said.
Yeah, I'm all for that.
It's great.
I'm all for that. Because he's trying to get a little bit of needle. Yeah. Rory's way too outspoken. We're not going to get on the Rory because I'm not a fan of Rory anymore. Sorry about that. But I think that kind of stuff, and it's good fun. Good. I mean, we've had it for so long with Live and PJ Tour, haven't we? That there's again more.
You want to see a singles between those two, and then Rory hold long putt and go, I can't hear you.
Yeah, that's it. That's right. Yeah. David Brett, I mean, this is a great comment. David, good evening. Hope you're well.
Oh, no.
When are we seeing the video of Kate putting Simon through his paces on the gym? Now,
I was hoping everyone forgot about that.
Yeah, well,
David, you've let me down.
I think that is an absolute must. An absolute must.
Video,
but
nasty.
what he must wear is lycra. I think you in lycra. I mean.
What, to see all my unsightly lumpy bits? I don't mean them.
I know. Any man in
these
lycra.
bits.
Any man in lycra. I mean, I'm going to be very unpopular. But if you're a cyclist and you're going around, I mean, how Sunday mornings in the coffee shop with men coming in with their helmet under their arm, dressed in lycra. Coffee
and a muffin.
It just shouldn't be seen.
Yeah.
It just shouldn't be seen, especially when you're sitting by the door and you're at head height.
Nutty
as well.
energy bar. Yeah. I can see you doing that.
Anyway, that's coming, David. That's coming.
Thanks,
that's
David.
Coming.
Appreciate it.
Ebo001 saw Stuart's vid with the truck analogy. I really liked it. Let me tell you, if you haven't seen the truck analogy on how the club moves down through strike, get yourself over. Not yet.
Is this a bin truck to go with a broom, or is this a?
No, this was an articulated lorry. This is an articulated lorry, talking about how the handle and the arms work. It's a cracker.
Obviously.
It's a cracker, of course it is. DC618, on fitting a driver, do you ever take into account people's height? Would a 3-wood shaft be okay in a driver? Sergio plays 43-inch, and most standard shafts are over 45-inch.
So, to a point, yes. It's a lot with something like a driver is about someone's ball striking ability, but also swing plane. So if someone is of lesser stature, then they start to swing it around themselves too much, then the face rotates and opens and closes a lot, and then just controlling it's harder. So we do fit quite a few drivers at 43.5 inches, and sort of down effectively 3-wood shaft and the driver head, mainly to get face under control, but strike quality. If you're striking it well at a long enough length and have a good enough face control, then driver you're maximising distance, but there are players who, for shorter length, just creates more efficiency. So Sergio's he plays a very heavy shaft, and he's got much more of that pull into the ball. So for his sort of technique, he's always been a very good driver of the ball. But that's potentially kind of a feel preference thing, I think.
Good answer as usual. Mike T. Who are new PXG 0317T for, and how does
line? He corrected himself.
Line up compare.
I've just seen Bill's comment.
Yes, I know. Brilliant.
So they are who are they for? They're in that sort of forgiving players' eye, and they're actually quite. We literally hit them. Got a bit of data for the first time today. They're not as hot and spin as we feared they might be, which is great. They're actually we feel a really nice head. They're equivalent to something like an MP223. Maybe not as strong as a T150 from a flight point of view, but a similar kind of principle. It's a player's iron with a little bit of margin for error. So they were missing from the line between the P317P and then this Forge CB. That's of interest. I think we could do quite well with those heads. Yeah.
If you could come up with a question that Simon doesn't know the answer to, I would pay some good money for that. So keep those questions coming in, because we want to keep testing.
I was going to say, Bill James, be very careful what question you ask.
It's got to be golf related, not lycra or anything
much.
like that. Bill James says, I've just put him off his tee. Sorry about that, Bill. And you're welcome, DC618. Ebo001, do stronger lofted irons always carry further than standard lofted irons? Good question.
No, not the long irons. So mid to shorter irons it will, because you're bringing a loft down, bringing spin down, bringing ball speed up. But there comes a point where spin and launch get too low, and then they don't carry any further.
Like a wounded mallard.
Yeah, they just become really hard work, and then you end up trying to get them in the air and then thin them and hit them even lower. Yeah. So not always, but you just create problems at the bottom end of the set from a gapping point of view if you go too strong. Yeah.
Well,
right.
188 yards.
Well, you've done really well in making me kind of stand still after you just...
slow him down. 18 feet, 4 inches to beat. Oh, by the way, I hit both of them on the green, by the way. But anyway, let's carry on.
Jolly well done.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Morgan.
Right. So how do I say? Actually, I'd see this as go straight at it. So.
Oh,
Little pulley.
Pull, draw.
Maybe it might fade. Pull, fade.
Pull, fade, pull, draw. Don't you dare bounce
Pull,
off
fade.
that bank and go close. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. Don't you dare.
Maybe it is a 7 iron.
Go, go.
Maybe that is a 7 iron.
Oh, the man's in doubt.
Yeah, well, that
Man's
went
in
further
doubt.
than it
Well,
should have done.
you know.
Well, it's on the green. It's on the green.
Can I tell you a little anecdote, a little story?
It's gamesmanship again. He's at it already.
Little story, right? So I'm caddying for Nick on tour, right? And we're at the an event in not Croatia, Prague, playing in Prague, Czech Open. Right?
Ah, yeah.
And I'm on the 18th green, and I've got the flag. I don't know why this has just come to me, but it has.
Is there a relevance?
No, there's not.
Okay.
But I just thought it was a really funny thing. So I've got the flag, right? And so on tour, when you're caddying, the last player in, their caddy puts the flag back into the hole. So as your player's putting out, you're holding the flag. As the next player puts out, you hand the flag to that player's caddy. And so I've taken the flag for the team. So I said, oh, don't worry, I'll put it in.
Yeah.
And so this was a front flag. Bear in mind, gallery's there, Friday evening, quite a few people kicking around. I've got the flag, right? And I walk back to the golf bag, forgetting I've got the flag in my arms, right? And from the middle of the fairway, the players are shouting, put the flag back in. And the flag was...
How long did it take you to realise?
I didn't.
Which
I
idiot's
didn't.
got the
I didn't.
flag?
I just, it was like a flag. I didn't realise I had to walk all the way down the green, put the flag back in, and walk all the way back off the green with all the galleries there. It was the most uncomfortable feeling of all time. I don't know why it just suddenly just came to me. Sorry, I just wanted to share that moment.
I got to stick with
Yeah. I wanted to break your rhythm.
I wonder what the worst thing a caddy's done, other than Miles Byrne not taking 2 drivers out of Wiesn's bag. That
was. I mean, can you imagine the conversation in the car on the way home? He was on the roof rack.
Don't think he was in the car. Yeah. Right. So see, going 7. I'm going to just turn this in off the right a little.
Oh, you're doing a little draw.
Yeah.
Got it.
I'm trying to anyway. Oh, no, shanked it.
A little shanky draw.
That was nearly a shank.
That
was the kind of golf I played yesterday.
Has it carried the front bunker? Please say it's carried the front bunker. I wouldn't want to bring that up. Oh,
Wouldn't that be disappointing?
Can
if
you
it ran
imagine
in
if that
close,
goes closest? If that goes closest, I'm going to be deeply disappointed. He shanked it.
Absolute disgrace of a swing.
It better not be.
But all 4 on the green.
No. Yeah. Okay. That's good. I'm
no
glad
pictures on the scorecard.
So it's 2-1. It's 2-1 going into the last hole.
Absolute shocker.
Oh no, is that? Yeah, that's right. It's 2-1. 2-1 up.
So, I Love Turtle truck. I've already turned up on the first 2 with a bag of brooms, bands, and medicine ball and twister mat. Now I have to drive a truck twister mat. Is this an alternative channel that you're
well, it's all about getting people to play better golf, and that's what I'm all about. Mike T, what would you suggest as my 5-wood and 3-wood do not have much separation? 5-wood at 130 ball speed and 3-wood at 133 ball speed.
So I wouldn't expect a huge ball speed separation. Probably you want about 5 miles an hour, but it's whether either the 3-wood is too low a spin, so isn't staying in the air long enough to separate enough. That would probably be the only thing it would be. Or because without any of the other data, it's sort of hard, but that would normally be the case, that the 5-wood stays in the air longer and better, and therefore gives you a more efficient carry. So we're doing a lot of builds now where we go from driver to a 4-wood or a 5-wood for that very reason. The 3-wood just doesn't flight enough and stay in the air long enough. So that's potentially, and without knowing the other data, that's probably what I'd expect. Because our club speed's going to be about 92, 93 miles an hour.
Where else do you get this kind of knowledge on a Monday evening at 6 p.m? Tell us. Where else do you get it? Where else do you get it? Adam, would you expect a ball speed drop from a Vokey 46 versus a Mizuno 223 pitching wedge at 46 degrees? Just strike quality, ? Thanks.
Not necessarily, but quite often the Vokey will have a dynamic gold shafting because that's what comes as stock. That's probably heavier than what's in the irons. That might play a part in it. I mean, the Vokey's designed for partial shots and Mizuno for full shots, so if they're exactly the same loft, it might just be a timing thing from a shaft side of things. So
He's now coming up with silly things to write on his clapper
Very
board.
unprofessional in the background there, trying to put us off our stride.
Steve Dixon, Stuart, at least you did that in Prague and not in New York. They would have been unmerciful. Yeah. Absolutely, they were actually. They just giggled. They just giggled.
Yeah. What about the players? They stand their teapot.
Yes,
the full teapot going.
Oh no, well, in the fairway they
or did they go off onto the next tee?
Yeah, well, I heard expletives as I was putting it back in the back hole. So we've got 212.
7th hole. This one.
7th hole.
Now this one.
So we've got one at 148.
I think it's the third. Yeah.
One at 202, one at 188, and one at 212. So a decent spread across the board.
Yeah, and this one plays downhill a little bit actually. So plays 37 feet down. So plays about a club downhill.
Yeah,
so it's playing more
downhill.
like a couple of hundred.
202.
205. But this one you've got soup on the left.
Like it.
And probably a drop off right. I haven't practiced this one, so.
Oh well,
I did the back nine because I thought we're ending. So playing to. This is back to 5 iron.
5 iron, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. 5 iron.
Yeah, this is one that gets your attention pretty quickly.
An elevated tee shot with water, par 3, long one.
Yeah. And the elevated ones are nice because you see. I always like elevated par 3s. You can see everything down.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got the bunkers sort of shorten a little bit. You just got to hit good shot.
Yeah.
Back pin would be miserable on this one.
Absolutely. Just out of curiosity, do you breathe in or breathe out on the takeaway of your golf swing?
I try to hold my breath. I've heard that so many times before. Absolute child.
Yep. That was a nice strike and a nice swing. I don't like it.
It's just fading a little. Just fading a little.
Had a little bit of curve on it.
Yeah.
Oh,
good miss though.
I tell you what,
that's a good miss.
It nearly did very well for you. So we've got Niels Axelsson, who is out of the Ryder Cup this week. Big shout out to Niels. He's normally on, but probably won't be here because he's travelling out there. So if you're watching this, Niels, big hi from us. We're going to hope to get Niels on the show live on Zoom to give us a little down low of what his week at the Ryder Cup. We've got a guest on next week.
Ralph Reichert from Oban Shafts. So president of Oban Shafts.
Brilliant.
A very good friend of ours. We'll be talking all things Oban and not necessarily whiskey.
Lovely. So if you've got any questions for him, make sure you either drop them in the comments before the live or email them over. You can catch our email.
There were
address.
a couple of questions actually that were sent in earlier on, and one of them was about Sergio using counterweights in his irons, and does that hurt ball striking? And the answer to that is not necessarily. It's if you're using a back weight in a club, then something else probably isn't quite right. I mean, this goes back to Sergio liking heavy dead weight, like the driver shaft, which has always been heavy, pulls on the handle hard, so weight in the handle makes sense. But normally if you're adding a counterweight, you're making it swing lighter in the head, so you're going heavier to swing lighter, which kind of doesn't really compute. That's sometimes just a bit of a, I've made a change to a club and I now trust it kind of thing. Right. There were a couple of others, but I'll pick those up.
Brilliant.
Once I flash this onto the green.
No, I really hope you do.
So I'm clearly going to aim left and pull it now.
Yeah. Into the seat. Yep.
You have little faith.
Oh, another ripper. Is she fading?
Yes.
Looks like it. Oh no.
We like that. We like that.
I don't like that, Danny.
Like that.
I don't like that, Danny.
Oh.
Yeah, well done.
6 iron for you, seems big boy.
Just 6 iron.
15 foot 5.
Is that what was that? How far?
15 foot.
Oh,
so it's playing like kind of 203 to the slope.
Wonderful, wonderful.
One of the questions we also got was Dynamic Gold 120 S400. If it's a little bit heavy and feels a bit loose, should I play the R300? It's only a 2 gram change, so it depends how heavy it is for you. Realistically, if it feels like a good shaft but a bit heavy, you probably want to go down a few more grams than 2, so probably go 5 or 6. So in that respect, you've got things like, you could go like the Modus 120 wouldn't be a bad shout. Maybe something like a C-Taper Light in 115, that would also work fairly well. But you need to drop probably a little bit more than just going to the R300 to make a noticeable difference.
And any news on the proto concept?
So Proto Concept, they're doing a couple of bits with woods, which we may or may not do something with. I mean, they're very, very Asia specific. I think irons-wise, they've launched a couple. I think they have launched a couple of updates on the blade head with the ceramic insert, and then the smaller of the cavities. They've sort of done slight updates on those recently. Wedges are still around, still good. There are some products launching, I think, in Asia at the moment, but we'll probably see those next year, I would imagine.
Okay. Right. Well, let's see. Let's see.
Oh, that looked annoyingly decent. That looked. Oh, it's going left. That's not going left, is it? Oh, don't go left.
There's no left. There's just on. Ah. I mean, it was close.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's close. I mean,
I was quite pleased with that.
8 foot too far away.
I was quite.
But
pleased
on the
with
fringe, so you get 10% extra. So.
That's very nice. That's very nice.
Nice swing though.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I really like these. I tell you, I like the thickness of your grips.
Stop it, Bill.
Oh no, that's not getting that.
The pressure's got to him,
that
isn't
was
it?
a touch toey.
Pressure's got to him. Is that like mine, where it's
Get
gonna,
over the
it's going to
trap.
bounce halfway,
Get
bounce over the
trap.
bunkers,
Get
and then trundle
over
up
the
to
trap.
about 10 foot.
Go on, go on. Oh, go on. Find the slope. Go left. Oh. Well, it looks like an honourable 2-all.
Well done.
Well done. Yes, really, really pleased about that. Really pleased about that.
I'm not going to replay it with your clubs.
No.
Otherwise,
No.
that would give you an advantage.
The build up to the Ryder Cup starts on Sky probably Tuesday, Wednesday.
Well, yeah, they had the press conference with captains today at 2:30. Didn't get to see that, so interested to see what they were saying. I know Colin's playing in that event on Thursday with Djokovic and a few others. There's him and I think is it Corey Pavin? I think you said Corey Pavin. They're doing a kind of an all-stars thing on Thursday. But
on the course, obviously.
On the course, yeah. I think back 9. I think it's 9. It might even maybe 6 holes. But they'll be, look at Sky. They'll do it brilliantly. They'll do a load of build-up. It'd be interesting to see what kind of coverage. I mean, I don't know, with Netflix having been under Keegan Bradley's nose when he got the phone call to say he wasn't selected, who knows what we're going to get. Yes. So I know they're not allowed in the American team room. There was denied access to the American team room. But yeah, I think it'd be interesting to see if there's anything different from a coverage point of view that gets the viewer in a little bit more, because I think that's something that this event, if you got some kind of insight into behind the scenes in some shape or form, I think that would be fascinating.
Yeah, I think it's where it's all going, isn't it? These interviews on course, they were first doing that down in Australia 10 years ago. Now that they've made it mainstream, it's amazing to see that they're comfortable with doing that. Yeah. And sometimes it works probably very well for some of the players. Some
might keep one a bit loose and relaxed, and
yeah, I think you're right. That having more insight into team rooms probably might be a push too far. It might have to be, we'll do that, but both teams have to do it. That might be the caveat, that sort of stuff. But it just makes the whole viewing experience. When we first used to have the Masters, BBC at midnight and like half an hour of like a few holes, and now all of a sudden it's all day. It's great.
I mean, look at the coverage at the Open, how much there was. I mean, there's an argument to say, is there too much? Is it a bit overkill? But then we all want more. We all want the insights. We all want to see the course. We all want to, and I think the shame for me, I mentioned it briefly earlier on, is I think that the Solheim Cup is going back to being next year, and then so it's every other year. Yes. 1 year Solheim, 1 year's Ryder Cup, and actually I think for me, having them both now, I think is an amazing build-up. It's such a huge thing, and potentially, and why not have them on the same course in the future? it's half the cost of setup. Colin, when Colin was on, that was one of the questions. Would you see an integrated? What about a mixed event?
Yeah.
I think there's so much potential in the future for bring in rest of the world.
Yeah. I think on the back of Live, I think it's all all bets are off. It's about as long as you keep the 4 majors, keep the Ryder Cup, President's Cup, Solheim Cup.
Yeah.
As long as you keep all of these landmark events, I think really trying to get as many diverse events as possible. I think the mixed events on the DP World Tour, I think that's been a really nice addition. Seeing the ladies and the guys play over the same golf course has been a really wonderful addition. James has just answered your question there. Prefer to see, so AQ said prefer to see them alternate between Solheim and Ryder Cup. I can't wait 2 years.
Well, maybe have the Walker Cup and the Curtis Cup on the interim.
Yeah, no, that's a good shout. That's a good shout. I mean, that's a first for you, a good shout. But, anyway.
There's one from Richard Skinner. What's been the best-selling driver this year? And what did you anticipate for driver? What do we anticipate in 2024?
Sorry, Richard, I didn't see that question coming.
Who needs to raise their game? Will they be able to make technology improvements? Our best-selling driver this year, tight call. I mean, certainly Callaway, Titleist and Ping have been very strong. All 3 have been very strong. Slightly different characteristics. But I would say probably just Ping, just the consistency element, but very close. I would say the one this year that's been a bit disappointing has been TaylorMade. That performance hasn't been a step forward. So I'd expect them to make an improvement next year, because I think this year was a bit of a miss relative to the introduction of the carbon face. Obviously, we can't talk about anything that is coming that we might have possibly got a hint of until embargoes lift. But what do I anticipate for driver releases? They're all just going to be going on about better ball speed all across the face. There's not a lot left for them to do, and there really isn't. So what do I anticipate? A lot of marketing. That's what I anticipate.
Probably a good shout. Well, hopefully these Monday night sessions and all of the content that we create give you value in our channel. And hopefully you appreciate the bigger our channel gets, the bigger the guests, and the more exposure we can create within our industry. So if you've really enjoyed tonight's show, we'd really appreciate it if you could subscribe. There's only 60% of you that are subscribed to this channel. So do give us a subscribe and a like. As usual, it's been a great session.
Thank you. Great fun.
Great. Yeah, as usual. And we really appreciate all of the questions and the participation, because it really does make the show. Just hearing us witter on and not hearing your questions would be a little bit boring. So a big thank you. And AQ, thank you so much for subscribing. From Simon and I, enjoy the Ryder Cup.
Yeah, have a great week.
And we'll be back next Monday, 6 p.m. live. See you then.